Good morning. I'm Nick DiMartino, and today we're going to be discussing CNC machines. Are they worth it? Probably, but I wouldn't know because I don't have one. Because they're expensive, and I'm poor. Someday maybe I'll be able to afford one, but in the meantime, I'm going to use these $30 carving bits I got off of Amazon and my router. Link in the description. My original plan for this video was a little motivational sign I had made for my son to hang above his bed, but something just wasn't right. So instead, I'm going to cut my logo into the top of my workbench and fill it with epoxy. I've never done this before, so in the end I can tell you whether or not this was difficult and if that CNC machine is really worth it. Let's get started. I had this piece of an old maple tabletop I had found on the side of the road. I cut it to size using my track saw, and then it was time to trace my logo onto it. I had no carbon transfer paper, so I sprayed the back of the paper with spray paint. I let it get a little tacky, and then I went over all the lines with a pencil, which left a copy of the logo on the wood. Once I had my logo on the wood, I could grab my router and start routing it out. I picked up this 4-pack of router bits on Amazon. There were 2 fine point bits and 2 less fine point bits, I guess. I was really surprised with how great and smooth this bit cut. Because the bits were so small, the router never pulled away from me and it was really easy to stay on the line. After I had the outline done, I wanted to add these fine little black lines that are all over my logo. So I switched over to the finer point bit. This bit was also great. This bit was also great. No pull from the router and 0 problems cutting through that maple. Now that I had my full outline, I used a 1/4" bit to remove the larger spots. Then I switched over to the less fine point bit to cut out some of the chaos on the hood over in the corners. At this point I had everything cut out and it was time to start the epoxy. I really wanted to put some glitter into this epoxy, but sadly we didn't have any, so I stole my daughter's sparkly sequins and put them into the blender. She wasn't happy.
What?
You stole your sequins. Are you mad at me?
Yeah.
But I bought her a whole bunch of new ones, so no big deal. I mixed the 2-part epoxy, the glitter, and some grape Kool-Aid all together using a stick in my drill. And then I poured this all over what I had routed out of my workbench top. I know I should have just poured into the lower spots for less work, but I had to go to work, and honestly I just didn't care. 24 hours later it was dry, so I took my angle grinder with a 60 grit sandpaper and it was time to see how this came out. I stepped up in grits until I had a smooth surface, and then I applied some wipe on poly and some paste wax and I screwed it all down to my workbench. So in the end, are CNC machines worth it? Again, yeah, probably. This project was super easy and these bits are amazing, but I know there's a ton of other stuff that you can do with a CNC. I guess I won't really know until I can afford one, or I can get somebody to sponsor these videos and, just give me one. But until that day, at least I'll have some motivation to keep me going. Hey, if you like this video, check out the one where I make a table for Danny DeVito and see what happens. Right here. Later.
Bye, see you again, and have a good dream.